What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with my 2023 year in review. This is part 2 covering the vintage mint-on cards that I picked up over the course of 2023. And I didn't keep all of them. I sold a few off here and there, but I think overall I finished with about 15 vintage mint-on cards, which is more than I usually get in a given year, and certainly more than I'm going to get in 2024. I don't foresee picking up many mint-on cards, mainly because of space. I've kind of have my display space in my collection room, and I'm pretty much maxed out at this point, unless I start buying and then selling off some of the current ones in my collection. I think I did sell off maybe 10 or so mint-on cards, picked up about 15 or so, and so net increase of about 5. So that's kind of more in line with past years. I usually pick up less than one a month, and I think that's going to be the case for 2024. But I did pick up a few gems that we're going to go through now. We're going to start off with some of the Empire Strikes Back items that I grabbed over the course of the year. And the first one is a 31 back B Tusken Raider. I picked this one up on Hakes maybe 3 or 4 or 5 months ago. I don't remember exactly when. This was a punched example, but a nice clear blister graded AFA 80 by AFA. And the card got an 80, blister 85, figure 85. And I got a really good deal on this one. I think I paid about $400, maybe a little over that for it, which I think was pretty fair, just given it's a fairly early Empire Strikes Back card back for the Tusken Raider. Great looking card, my first mint-on card. Sand People, so that was really cool. Here is one of the gems that I did pick up this year, and that was courtesy of Chris over at Rogue 5 Toys. This one is another 31 back B for Luke Skywalker in his Bespin fatigues. And, you know, obviously this is the walking photo I already had from previous years, a 41A survival kit offer. Luke with the kind of looking photo where he's holding the gun, but it was nice to get this alternate image version. This was another punched example with no price sticker, and it was graded AFA 80, 80, 80, 80 were the sub-scores. The weapon, the blaster had come loose inside the tape, so that's why it got the 80 for the figure score, but this is the blonde-haired Luke, 31 back B, just an absolute gem, certainly one of the best mocks in my collection. And some other Empire Strikes Back gems that I picked up. I picked up this one, I think also from Chris at Rogue 5 Toys. This is the 41A survival kit offer for the Death Star droid. Beautiful unpunched example, clear blister, and this one also is graded 80. That seems to be about the sweet spot for where I like to grab mint-on cards, unless I get one ungraded and it happens to grade higher than that. But usually 80 grade is about the sweet spot for me. I'm not looking to have all 85s or anything crazy like that. And, you know, it's just kind of a nice, another ESB Death Star droid. I've got maybe 6 or 7 different mint-on card Death Star droids now. So he's definitely one of the characters that I have an affinity for. A couple of ones that I picked up ungraded, I think on Hakes. And this is one of them that did come back a little higher than an 80. That's the Imperial Commander on the 47 back free forearm offer. This was kind of a partially unpunched. The tab is coming out just a little bit up top. Did have a price sticker in the upper right-hand corner, but a beautiful crystal clear blister. And I think I grabbed this one ungraded on Hakes towards the beginning of the year, and it came back with an 85 from CAS. 85, 85, 80 were the sub-scores on that one. The footer did come out from underneath his foot. I haven't messed around with it to try and put it back in, but another very nice example. And I grabbed that one for like less than $200 if memory serves. So that was definitely a great pickup, and you know, just wanted to, it's a fairly common one, very easy to find that one, but a nice kind of, you know, low-grade edition or lower-tier edition. Here was another one I also picked up in that same Hakes slot. This is the 45-back Star Wars Display Arena offer for the AT-AT Commander. And this is General Veers, and this is one of the more common mocks as well. I do like that kind of offer, the Star Wars Display offer. It goes nicely with the blue from the scene on Hoth. And just another kind of great card back there where you don't really actually see the character, just the vehicle that he was in charge of. So this was another unpunched example with a Toy Shop price sticker, and this one came back with an 80. After I got it from Hakes, I sent it off to be graded, and it came back with straight 80s, which is what I expected on that one. But another nice kind of Imperial Army edition. The last one, and we're going to kind of skip over to Return of the Jedi for this one, but this is the first Bosk item I picked up this year, and I picked it up in an auction. I think it was down in Australia, if memory serves, and he bomb-proofed it, and it arrived safe and sound. This is the poor man's debut card for Bosk. This is the 32 back B. There was a very tough-to-find 31A for Bosk. That's his actual debut card, but there are less than a handful of those that are known to exist, and it's going to set you back a very pretty penny. But this one had the old-style grading from AFA with just a single score, and it came back with an 80. And this was another punched example. And, you know, looking back at it, it seemed like a good deal at the time for a clear blister 32B Boss. But since this time, several of them have popped up on eBay, and they've sold for maybe 30% less than what I paid. So this is one where I probably overpaid a little bit at the time. It was kind of towards the beginning of 2023 before prices had really kind of started to come back down a little bit. So that was a nice addition. The other big Bosk addition, we'll kind of skip over to Return of the Jedi, and that's this one. This one I picked up from LJ's Card Shop. Probably another one I overpaid a little bit for, but at the time I had just sold off some vintage mint on cards, so I had some money to burn, and I always wanted the Revenge of the Jedi proof card for Bosk. And the previous year in 2022, I picked up the Revenge of the Jedi proof card for the Cloud Car palette, another one of my character focus assists. And that one I picked up from Hakes. It was an AFA 80 plus. And this is the Boss proof card that I picked up on eBay from LJ's Card Shop, and it was an 85 grade. So pretty awesome pre-production edition there. And very happy with that one. I don't expect to get any more Revenge of the Jedi proof cards unless I just happen upon one that is at auction or something, and I happen to have the substantial funds needed to buy one of these because they are very pricey. So I think that was pretty much it for The Empire Strikes Back, but I thought I'd pull off this Revenge of the Jedi proof since we had the other Bosk with it. But I've got some Return of the Jedi mint on cards, and then also some tri-logos that I'm going to show you next. So I didn't pick up too many Return of the Jedi mint on cards this year, but here are two beauties that I did add to the collection. And the first one is this one. This is a Made in Mexico Lily Letty for the US market 65 back B Biker Scout. So this is another one I picked up in a lot of about 4 or 5 from Hakes that were ungraded. Sent it in to get graded with CAS, and I knew it would grade pretty high. It did end up getting an 80 score with CAS. 80, 85, 80 are the sub scores on that one. So we talk about these all the time in my vintage market updates. The backs are kind of like more matte finish, and they oftentimes do have a hole punch on the back. This particular example does not, but that's pretty abnormal. Most of the Made in Mexico, as you see right there, they have a little hole punch that goes through the card that was factory applied. But really nice Biker Scout there. And then here is the other Biker Scout I picked up. It was just slight yellowing, but I figured, why not? I'm grabbing the other one. I might as well grab this one. And this is the 77 back A Biker Scout. It also got an 80 with CAS, and 80, 85, 85 were the sub scores on that one with a yellow designation, and it's very faint, but you can see just a little bit of yellowing on the outside of the blister there, but very minor and certainly in great shape. And it was like a 225, I think, is the price I paid for it. So I thought it was worth picking up. But another really nice example, Hong Kong manufactured Biker Scout. So those were 2 of them that I grabbed. And then here was the last Return of the Jedi card before we dig into the tri-logos. This one was a stunner. This is the harder to find transition card for Dengar. And as we talk about all the time, these 48 back Return of the Jedi free Neonum offers, they only had Empire Strikes Back and Star Wars characters on this card back. None of the Return of the Jedi characters were on these 48 backs. So really nice example. It had some issues, very minor issues, some light bubbling to the blister in the top. This one was an unpunched example with a little bit of a crease right there. And I did have the ugly Toys R Us price sticker, but it's not often you find one of these, and I paid a lot of money for it. Probably in today's market, it would sell for quite a bit less than what I paid for it at the time, but that's what we do, right? We overpay sometimes. 80, 80, 85 were the sub-scores on that one, so barely eked out an 80, which is about what I expected on this one. Here's the back of the card with the free Neonum offer there. So really nice example. I think I've got this one for Dengar, Bosk, as well as the Cloud Car palette. Off the top of my head, those are the only 3 I have for that really great card back. But that's one of my favorite cards. And we'll use Dengar as a way to segue into the Palatoy Tri-Logos. And I think for my Mint on cards, my Tri-Logos were probably my best pickups this year. And I picked up a number of them from Dark Side Alliance. They had a sale going towards the beginning of 2023 for some Tri-Logos that Gaz was selling over at Dark Side Alliance on Facebook. And this is one of them. This is the Dengar. This is the Peach Face Dengar, made in Hong Kong. And it came back with a 75. Card got an 80, blister 75, figure 85. It just had just enough rippling on the top of the blister there to get the 75 score. I also did pick up from Germany, I believe, or Norway, a Paleface PBP Dengar. But unfortunately, on its way to Collector Archive Services, the blister cracked. So it was really unfortunate. So I did sell that one off at a loss to a channel subscriber. So I'm still on the hunt. I think for next year, I would like to get a Mint on card Paleface Spanish PBP with the dark purple armor Dengar. It's just unfortunate. It's very rare that happens where something gets damaged in shipping. It was a really nice example too, actually in better condition, in my opinion, than this one I've got here. But the blister cracked at the top on the way to CAS, so the score was like a 70. So I did sell that one off at a loss, but you know, what are you going to do? Stuff happens sometimes. Some other ones I picked up. This is a Hes Pickup. This one is a beautiful Tri-Logo, and at first glance, you're wondering, why did it get a 75 plus? Because at first glance, it looks so perfect. The blister on it is especially nice. It got an 80 score for the blister, figure score of 85, but the card got a 75, and that's because it does have a crease that you can only see in certain light. There we go. So you can see the crease on the card there that did not show up that well in the photos on Hakes, but they were there, and I just didn't notice them that well. And in all fairness, I only paid like $175 for this Mint on card, ungraded from Hakes. So very happy with that. But pretty nice to get two different AT-AT commanders, one on the 45 back Star Wars display arena, and then this Tri-Logo that came back with a 75 plus from CAS. Now we're going to dig into some big heaters that I got this year, and like I said, I think my Tri-Logos that I picked up this year were probably the best of my Mint on cards, other than maybe the 31B Luke Bespin. But this one was a big one. I got this one from Dark Side Alliance during that big sale in January of 2023, and that's the Darth Vader. This one is a punched example, and it was very high grade, and it did come back with the 80 score after I sent it off to CAS. 80, 80, 85 were the sub scores. So that's a really beautiful Tri-Logo Darth Vader. Just absolutely love that one, and turned out great. And another one I picked up, this was from Jeff's Collectible Empire. It was in an auction, and this is a CAS. It was already graded CAS 80, and this is the Tri-Logo Boosh. And if you remember from the end of 2022, this was one of my goal figures for this year. So I did meet that goal. I did get my Mint on card Boosh Tri-Logo, and very happy to have that. So paid about fair market value, in my opinion. I would say that even in today's markets, the market has come down since I bought this, but it's just a very tough one to track down. So in terms of 2024, I think if I do pick up any Mint on cards, they will probably be Tri-Logos or maybe a couple of Empire Strikes Back, but I will not be getting 15 of them like I did this year. It was just kind of a overwhelming year for Mint on cards, and it was all over the course of about 3 months. Here was a stunner. This one I picked up from David S., who's a channel supporter and Patreon supporter, and good friend of mine who's been over to my house, and he had this beauty and sold it to me for a very fair price, probably below market, quite honestly, and it was just very kind of David to do that. But this is a Tri-Logo Sensor Scope R2D2, and it came back with straight 85s for the sub scores. So this one was already graded, and David had already upgraded to an AFA 85, and so he sold this off to me at, in my opinion, below fair market value. So very generous of you, David, to do that. And he's got an incredible R2D2 collection. So very happy to get that one. That was just case fresh. That's as good as it gets right there. Unpunched, no price sticker, and just absolutely stunning condition. And then I did pick up 3 different last 17 Tri-Logos Mint on card. And the first one is this Lumat graded AFA 80. And I grabbed this one from Ian Sanderson, who runs GW Acrylic. He had this for sale on the Deal or No Deal group on Facebook. So I picked this one up from him for a very fair price. He gave me a pretty good price on that. And it's graded AFA 80. It's a punched example with no price sticker. And as part of that Dark Side Alliance purchase, I did also pick up this Barata. And I knew that, I got a pretty fair price on it. I knew it probably would not grade very highly. And it came back about what I expected, but it was an unpunched example, no $1.59 or £1.59 price sticker on it, which is what usually happened in the Palatoy factory. They slapped the £1.59 sticker on it. So this one did not have that, and the blister was in really great shape, so I thought I'd grab it. And this one came back 75 for the card, blister 80, figure 85 for an overall 75. Just had one pretty big crease, I think, on the back somewhere. The other cool thing about this one, and also I forgot to mention for the Lumat, is that these had the Clipper Benelux catalogs that were attached to it. So both of them in separate transactions just happened to both get two Last 17 Tri-logos, both of them with the catalogs attached on the back. So that was kind of a cool thing to do. And I would like to pick up maybe one or two more Tri-Logo Last 17s this year, like a General Lando or something, so we'll see. The last big one, and this is kind of the end of the video, and this is the one I just showed fairly recently in an unboxing. This is the Luke Skywalker in his Stormtrooper disguise that I grabbed from Facebook in Rogue 5 Toys, courtesy of Chris W., a good buddy of mine, and he sold me this for a very fair price. This is an unpunched example with that £1.59 new figure price sticker on it, but give me a break. It's Luke Skywalker in his Stormtrooper disguise, and it's got an archival case, AFA 80, 80, 85, 85 were the subscores. I don't know how this one only got an 80, because this is as good as it gets in my mind. I've really looked this card over very well, and it's mind-blowing to me that it only got an 80. I just feel like it's an 80 plus at a minimum, if not 85, but anyway, you never know what kind of grades you're going to get if the graders had a bad day. But this is stunning, and probably another one of my top 5 mint on cards in my collection. So thank you again to Chris for all of the great deals throughout the year. I picked up several mint on cards from him, and I'm sure I'll do the same in 2024. So we got one last year in review video that will be coming out tomorrow, and that will be on my pretty major comic book pickups for the year. And, quite honestly, my comic book pickups were probably the most ridiculous out of everything between loose graded, mint on card, and my comics. I really dove into comics in a big way this year, and I've got some really stunning examples to show you, including maybe about 10 or so that you have not seen yet on the channel. That's all I really had for this video. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll be back soon.